Mrs. Lenora Jones was a teacher in the Suffolk Public School System from 1949 till 1983 and served as the Minister of Music here at East End Baptist Church from 1952 to 1989. Under the leadership of Reverend Dr. C.J. Word, Mrs. Lenora and her husband, Mr. John Jones, worked untiringly together as a team in the life of the East End Baptist Church. During her tenure here, she expanded the church's music program, forming 5 new choirs and directing 7 overall. She and Mr. Jones also co-directed the Baptist Youth Fellowship. All of these ministry programs became part of East End's identity and fostered the development of many other leaders in the church, the community, and beyond.
How did you develop your love for music?
It really started with my dad. I was 5 years old when he made my first scale. And I guess it was just instilled in me from there. And I took piano lessons. And, I had no idea I was going to end up where I am, in the field of music. But I guess that was it. He gave it to me, my first lessons.
Wow. And what made you want to go into teaching?
Well, I tell you what, my parents had just enough money to get me in college. And my organ instructor really wanted me to go to Oberlin College because I had given the first organ recital in the state at the Virginia State College, and he thought I was pretty good. But I knew I didn't have the money to go. And in answer to your question, I knew I needed to come on out of college and start working to make some money. So that was my decision to apply for jobs, and got a job teaching. Didn't get in the field of music. My first job was teaching the 5th grade. Yeah. But I developed a little choir anyway with those 5th graders. And that was my first job, what you might say, teaching music.
Okay. I know you mentioned Virginia State College, which you graduated your understudies.
Yeah. I graduated from Virginia State. During that time, the degree was called a Bachelor of Science degree in public school music. It wasn't called music education, That was 1948, so that's way back there. And so after that, after I left my first little job with the 5th grade, I ended up in Suffolk Public Schools. I still taught grades 5 and 6 and 7. I was teaching English, and I had choir after school. And I scraped up every child I could find to make a choir. And we did lots of things. We gave lots of concerts, but we ended up always in the regional and state conference. And they would always bring back very good ratings. They would be real disappointed if we got a number 2. They had to be number 1.
I understand.
Yeah.
So even while you were there, what was the Virginia State College, now Virginia State University, what was the climate like within the black community? Because I know that was after the Great Depression, before the Civil Rights Movement. What was the climate like?
No, we were all black.
Mm-hmm.
We were all black, and it was a happy campus. It was a very strict campus. You had to check out, in and out, when you left the dorm, and you had to be in by a certain time. I enjoyed mostly being able to go from my dorm over to the music department and practice. That's where I lived in there most of the time because I would be practicing piano because I was a piano major and organ. Piano and organ. And of course, I was in the band.
All right.
Oh, I was in the band. And I played French horn.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it was nice. Kids were nice to each other. I had a roommate, the same roommate for 4 years. Right. And so I didn't have to worry about what the changes was going to be like each year. So I enjoyed myself being a little country girl from Suffolk at Virginia State College, scared to death.
So I know you played the piano, you just mentioned French horn. Any other instruments that you?
Well, as a major in music, I had to play them all.
Okay.
Yeah, because I took instrumental music. And I did get I did everything. I did the strings, the brasses, and when I got to the percussions, the class was over, and I said, "Thank God," because I was too particular about playing the percussions. But yeah, I had to be exposed to all of them in case when I got into the public school system, if I were thrown into that position, I would know what to do. But I was really in the choral, emphasis on choral music and piano.
So how did you become the minister of music with East End?
Okay, when I had this first job in Petersburg, and I was really a member of First Baptist Church here in Suffolk, and the pastor there needed a musician and came to Petersburg to find me. So I ended up playing for them 2 or 3 years. And after that, or at the same time I was doing that, I was playing sub like at East End. I would substitute when someone wasn't there. And the organist before me was unable to continue to do her job. And Reverend Word came to my house and asked me would I come in and organize the youth choir. So I took over the teenage choir, but he wanted a feeder choir. So the feeder choir was the little bitty things. I started with 2 kids, and it developed into maybe, I guess I had 50, 75 kids in the little choir. You know, they would go and come, go and come. They would dwindle down and they would build back up. And I had a young people's choir. So that's how I got to be, got into the music, into the church. And I went on and organized the young adult choir. They already had a senior choir. But then, see, the young adult choir was like a bridge between the teenagers and the older people. Folks like you. Yeah. Folks like you. So that's how, and I organized the male chorus, too. So that's what the people came behind me built on, right? Because when I went to East End, they had 2 choirs. There was the senior choir and a teenage choir. But they were about to dwindle away, and Reverend Word wanted to rebuild the music program, and I think that might have had some effect on the growth of the youth in the church, because I pulled everybody that looked like it was a child that I could get, and try to pull them into the church, and that had built up the membership of the church too. Yeah, because they didn't just come in to sing. Once they got in, they got involved in the total program in Sunday school, and so a lot of them just joined church after that.
Okay. Now I know you told a story in Disciple You one day of y'all, you and Reverend Word kind of were like a tag team.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, I hate to do this, but I had to bring my husband in.
Absolutely.
Because we were a team. And we developed not only the music program, but he developed the recreation program and the daycare program. The daycare program started on the floor of the old church. And I said on the floor, literally on the floor, the little mats down on the floor, and had 2 or 3 little kids until it developed into a full-fledged program for daycare, and with a staff, I'm sure, of about 10 teachers, off and on with substitutes, and a large enrollment for the daycare. And the recreation program, they were hanging all out the windows. But that was good. And so with him doing that, and my doing the music program, and we had young children, Chris and Larry, and so we were at church most of the time. I had choir rehearsal on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and Thursday nights. We were in Bible study on Wednesday nights. So Saturday was recreation day, except in the summer, recreation every day. every day of the week. And he had a food program. They ate 3 times a day. Right. And so I'm saying we were all there. It was a family affair. Yeah. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much. And so I taught piano. I had about, I guess, maybe 70 kids at a time. And I gave piano recitals, and I taught organ. I didn't have maybe but about 10 kids at a time for that, because I couldn't fit them in. But all this at church while I was teaching public school. Yeah, I would teach public school, and I would get out about 3:30, and head for church. And we were at church until like 9 o'clock, so our food was there, sandwich or whatever you could get until everything was over. And the kids did the homework at church.
Out of all of your accomplishments, what are you most proud of?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me that. But as I think of it, I don't know. I think I'm most proud of my accomplishments at East End Baptist Church. I mean, having been affiliated with the public schools and everything, I look at the children and what they did. It's not what I did, but I look at now. Even I look at the people right here in this sanctuary on Sundays and remember them as little kids. So that I feel real proud of. If I'm supposed to be allowed to be proud of the young people and young adults, and some of them now are senior adults. Chris is a senior adult, and he was one of those little kids. So you can look at him and look at the other people in his age bracket. Those people in this church were the people that I brought through the music program. Yeah, and a short answer to your question is, I am most proud of what I did at East End. All that other stuff on the outside of the church was secondary. This East End was my love.
Well, thank you so much for your time and coming here today, and we just wanted to celebrate you and honor you.
Well, you are so kind to have asked me, and thank you so much.
All right. God bless you.